Whilst you guys know that I don't often recommend fast weight loss and crash dieting, I do recognize that there are times when you may want to or need to. Ideally, you wouldn't do this more than maybe once or twice at a push a year, because it is a bit of a crash diet. But in the past, when I competed on stage, luckily I never needed to do this kind of crash diet, but there were ladies in my group of athletes, and the coach put them on this kind of a diet. The coach had, I remember two ladies in particular, she had them on hake, which is a white fish hake, and like spinach and broccoli, maybe a bit of cucumber. Pretty much that was it, like in that last week leading up to those ladies getting up on stage. And so this kind of a diet does work. It's also called like a protein sparing, fasting, mimicking diet. There's all kinds of fancy words out there on social media, on the internet. Ultimately, what this boils down to is eating a lot of lean protein, and that's really to preserve your muscle mass, because in a fasted state or in a very low calorie state, your body potentially may burn a bit of muscle. It's looking for amino acids, and we cannot make the 9 essential amino acids. So your body may turn to breaking down its own muscle. I do think that's a small risk if it's a short period of time, like 7 days is quite short. If you want to fast or be very low calorie for an extended period of time, I would definitely recommend you hit your protein goals. And that's what this diet does. And so it allows you the best chance of losing fat, not just overall weight, but it is quite a crash diet. So you will lose weight fast if you stick to this. Now, of course, there are other ways you can lose weight fast, like using clenbuterol, using ephedrine, but these things are not available anymore, like legally. I remember in the good old days when I was young, there was something called Thins, something called Slims, these diet pills that the girls used to take. I never took them, but I remember a friend of mine was on them. And so there are things like that. There's also, as we now know, Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic, these kinds of weight loss drugs. And I'm not opposed to anyone doing whatever they want in their life. You do you. I don't judge anyone. But I understand that that's not the way that some people can or want to go or can afford to go. And sometimes you just want to lose a little bit of weight fast, let's say for a wedding, for a photo shoot, for getting up on stage. Like, I will compete at some point this year. I may need to do this diet for about a week or so. So this is, I'm going to give it to you. Very simple. Like I said, again, it's not rocket science. It's not difficult. It will be hard to do. It will be especially hard to do for longer than, let's say, a week or two, unless you have a lot of body fat to lose. Then maybe you could do this kind of a fast weight loss crash diet for a bit more of an extended period of time. Also, if you have a lot of weight to lose and you want to jumpstart your weight loss because you are frustrated with not seeing results, this could be a way that could help you. Now, as I said, it's mostly eating lean protein, so it's not keto. This is not high fat, but you will include vegetables, non-starchy vegetables, for fiber, for micronutrients, and I mean to give yourself something else to eat for taste as well. So just remember that this is not a long-term thing. This would be for a week, maybe 2 weeks maximum. If you have a lot of body fat, you could possibly do it for a month, but I don't recommend you do this often. In fact, I recommend maximum once a year. Be very careful because you don't want to underfeed yourself. You don't want to miss out on valuable nutrients. And while you're doing something like this, okay, for a week, it's not going to make a difference. If you do this for 2 weeks or longer, make sure you are getting in some essential fatty acids. So take an EPA, DHA supplement, a fish oil supplement or something, or flax seeds if you're vegan. But the diet goes like this. So now what I did was I actually plugged it into ChatGPT so we could just get a rough idea. It really is lean protein for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, including non-starchy vegetables. The non-starchy vegetables, as many as you want, it's like a free food. So fill up on those and then don't drink your calories. So ideally, and this would be tough for me to do, but if I were to do this, I would have to cut out your milk unless you can have a drop of skim milk in your tea or coffee. So have black tea, black coffee, Coke Zero, Sprite Zero, sparkling water, or just plain, good old plain tap water or bottled water. So try your best to only eat your calories. You are going to limit your calories during this like fat loss crash diet phase. You're going to limit your calories to not too low, but to, like, for a woman, around 1,000 calories. For a man, maybe 1,400 calories. It also depends on your height and your size. If you're a tiny, tiny, petite female, maybe you can drop your calories a little bit low, because remember, you are only doing this for a short period of time. So it's not an extended crash. So for ChatGPT, I just entered in, I asked it here. So I typed into ChatGPT, I said, give me a diet of 1,000 calories with only lean protein and low starch vegetables. And it basically gave it to me. So you can use AI to craft yourself a little mini fat loss diet. So here, meal 1, breakfast, 250 calories, egg whites, 8 large, spinach, 2 cups cooked, cherry tomatoes, which are a little bit starchy, but I mean, it's only half a cup, so I'll let it get away with that, and black coffee or herbal tea, no sugar, and that's optional, or you could just have water. Meal number 2 is 350 calories. That's lunch. It's a grilled chicken breast, 6 ounces, skinless, boneless, steamed broccoli, lemon juice, and spices for flavoring. I love that it included that, because you will get bored. After a week of this, you're going to get bored. Meal number 3, dinner, is 400 calories, which is generous. Grilled white fish, tilapia or cod, steamed asparagus, mushrooms. I love that. 1 cup cooked, because sometimes when we think of non-starchy vegetables, we don't think variety. We don't think mushrooms and asparagus. We just go for broccoli, Brussels sprouts, green beans, the very traditional green, non-starchy vegetables. Try and break out a little bit in your thinking. And then garlic and lemon juice for seasoning. And now this is limited. Remember, this is not a diet for life. This is not sustainable. And so this is only if you really need to shed weight fast for an event, for a photo shoot, for something important. Maybe you are going into surgery and you need to lose a bit of weight. Ideally, though, I don't recommend fast weight loss, because you are not learning sustainable lifelong habits by doing something like this. So I would ideally have you, if there's no event, if you're not prepping for surgery, you're not prepping for anything, ideally I would have you diet slow and steady. I always say slow and steady wins the race. But in cases where you do want to and you do need to, this is healthy enough-ish. You are getting in calories. You are preserving your muscle mass by hitting your protein goals. You may feel a little bit weak because of the lack of carbohydrates. Your muscles will deplete a bit. So if you're using this to step on stage, you are going to want to carb up the day before. So you will feel a bit weak. You might feel a little bit like you can't think, fuzzy thinking, because your brain does run on glucose. So that's why I say this is a short-term diet only, not something to do forever and ever, but it is a tool that you can use. Use it wisely, use it with caution, but there you go. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.